is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Kansas City.
It's another hot afternoon in Kansas City where we come to you from Kauffman Stadium for the final game of this series between the Indians and the Royals. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The first two games have been finished by final scores of 7-3. Corey Kluber went out after 7 with a cramp. Christian Colon tied it with a Butcher Boy base hit that scored 2, and the Royals were even. And then Orlando gave him the lead, and Jarrod Dyson with a grand slam home run, and the Royals win 7-3. Game 2 last night. Brian Flynn threw a high fastball in the first inning that Mike Napoli knocked out. He gave up 3 runs in 2 1/3 innings, and the Royals had a tough time with Danny Salazar, who went 6 2/3 innings, gave up just 2 earned runs, struck out 7, and Cleveland won by a final score of 7-3. So the Tribe right now is back in front by 8 games over Kansas City. Cleveland leading Detroit by 6.5 games. Hi, everybody. Steve Physioc, Rex Hudler with you. This makes today's game extremely important. Kennedy versus Carlos Carrasco.
They've got to find a way. Kennedy has got to shut down that offense, especially Lindor. He's been in Royals killer all season long. Don't let him beat you. Pitch around him. And for the offense, why not score Kennedy some early runs for a change? What a concept.
When we come back, we'll talk about Ian Kennedy, the right-hander who has been so important to Kansas City's success. Can he do it against the first-place Tribe? Find out next. Stadium for the final game of the series between the Indians and the Royals. And Ian Kennedy, so important for Kansas City's success. He was good against Detroit last time out.
Well, if you're going to be the ace of the staff, you continue winning streaks. And in this case, you stop losing streaks. Kennedy's the guy who can do it. Uses his fastball well, keep it out of the middle of the plate, pitch around him, try to get your innings in like he's been doing here, like he did against the Tigers. That's okay. Are you kidding? One run against those guys, he can do it against the Tribe.
And he has to be our Honda most trusted player because he has a 2.11 ERA at Kauffman Stadium, which is the best home ERA in the American League.
He knows how to get the job done, but you can't let Lindor beat you. And be careful with Napoli. Those guys got hot bats in there. They can go for the fence.
And Lindor has been an absolute weapon against Kansas City for Cleveland. We'll talk about him tormenting the KC Arms next. Francisco Lindor, and as we take a look at the Kubota power stats, this is a young man who has been off the charts against Kansas City, hitting .384 in his career.
Yeah, 11 multi-hit games and 22 career games. Wow. You know what? When you see numbers like that against you, you have to pay special attention, especially as hot as he is. Pitch around him. Don't be afraid to just walk him even if you have to. Don't let him beat you. The Royals have a 2-game swing today. They've got to be able to let Cleveland go home with 7 games.
25 RBIs in 22 games. When we come back, we'll talk about the Royals' young star. That is Cheslor Cuthbert, who has been hot in the month of July. kid's having fun. You can pitch him inside, but right now there's a kid on the Royals. You can't pitch inside or outside. That's Cheslor Cuthbert, hitting .370 in the month of July. He is our Toyota League leader.
Ned Yost has got to love the consistency he's getting from his rookie third baseman. His defense is spectacular, but that bat, very consistent. He's seeing more pitches than any other one of his teammates, and we wanted to ask Ned Yost why.
He's just been very consistent out of, all of the guys in our lineup. You can kind of point to him being the most consistent day in and day out. Hasn't gone through any extended little streaks, good or bad. So he's been very good for us.
Hopefully Cheslor Cuthbert and Ned Yost and Gerard Dyson can lead the Royals to a series victory over these Cleveland Indians. Brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit us at yourmidwestforddealers.com. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery on a hot afternoon in Kansas City. It's 93 degrees, but Hud, it feels like 106.
Turn it up. Just like the velocity on Kennedy's fastball, we hope today that's missing some tri-bats. That would be what we'd like.
Well, you see his last 4 starts since June 20th. He's 4th in the league in opponent's batting average at .206, 5th in strikeouts with 34, 6th in WHIP, and 8th in ERA 2.96. And look what the opponents have done in the clutch.
Yeah, look, that's not much because he's really bearing down with runners in scoring position. That's the mark of a good pitcher. And for Ned Yost, really, he's making Kennedy his ace. So hopefully he'll pitch like one today.
Terry Francona's batting order will have Carlos Santana leading things off, then Jason Kipnis. We told you about the ultra hot Lindor, but Mike Napoli is there to protect him, and he has done an excellent job in the first 2 games in that department.
Yeah, Napoli's a tremendous threat. And is not hitting for a very high average, but look, it's those guys in the middle of that order, though. You don't worry about their average as much as you do the way they can throw runs up with one swing. And speaking of that, Kennedy needs to keep the ball in the ballpark. Now he's tied for 3rd most American League in the home runs.
are Golden Oak lending keys to the game.
All right, show Lindor the door. With those kind of averages right there, we don't even have the, his great RBI and home run totals. Don't pitch to him. Walk around him. Find a way. They've got to find a way. Better to leave this ballpark for an off day tomorrow, 7 back rather than 9.
Calling balls and strikes will be Ryan Blakeney. The crew chief is Jeff Nelson. He's at second base tonight. Blazer at first and Doug Eddings at third base.
Hot day for those umpires standing out there. Now they don't get a chance to sit down like the players do in between innings. Make sure they stay hydrated.
Well, on a hot day like this, the wind is blowing out towards left. Kennedy does give up a lot of home runs. Tied for third most allowed in the American League with 22. 11 to left-handers, 11 to right-handers. Royals have kept Santana quiet. He's 1 for 7 in this series, but he does have a hit in 15 of his last 16 games. Strike one.
Carlos Santana, he's hadn't had much success off of Kennedy. He's 0 for 12 in his career.
Fastball up, 1 ball, 1 strike. Santana very patient with 51 walks this year in the top 10 in the major leagues in that.
Now Kennedy's not afraid to challenge guys with that fastball. That's the one thing that Dave Island's impressed with him the most. You see the fastball, he's going to use that a majority of the time. Changeup, curve, and slider. Opponent's hitting under 200 on his fastball. And he's going to use all 4 areas of the quadrant of the strike zone. He needs to stay out of the middle if he can. Getting ahead's important for every pitcher, there's no doubt, and especially for Kennedy. Opponents are only hitting .211 when he's ahead in the count. There you go.
In there, strike 3 call. How about the Royals' 4 defense?
Defensively, we're going to see Eibner out there getting his 14th outfield start. 9th in left field. He can play any of those outfield positions. They could put him in center and not miss a beat. He's an above average fielder. The Royals, the one thing you can count on is their defense. They're plus 27 runs, defensive runs saved. That's second best behind the Astros this year. They're plus 38.
Here is Jason Kipnis, who has had a good series, 3 for 8. He was on base 3 times yesterday and scored a run, stole a base.
Kipnis, like Santana, hadn't had any success either. He's 0 for 8 against Kennedy. Sprays the ball around, tries to stay in the middle of the field, but mainly he wants to pull the ball.
He is right on top of home plate. I mean, his hands are in that strike zone.
And I talked about his mechanics last night a little bit. He's very quiet and very calm, very little movement, so that really makes it easy for him to take his hands and that bat right to the sweet spot of that ball. He just goes right to it. You see that bat angle? He's at a perfect angle. All he's got to do is just throw the head. So the less movement you have, typically better, especially your head. Keep your head still, and the ball doesn't move. If you move your head, ball bounces.
Hit well, right field. Back goes Orlando at the wall, and it is gone. A home run, and Cleveland takes a 1-0 lead. It's the 3rd straight game that the Royals have given up a home run in the first inning.
You know, you're taking your chances when you use that fastball like Kennedy. That's why he's got to be so good to stay on the corners and edges and out of the middle. That ball stayed down short. We just talked about Kipnis. Watch this. See, he takes his hands back. Head stays perfectly still. All he's doing is just throwing that head of that bat. And if you catch it underneath the ball, you get the backspin. The backspin makes the ball carry, especially on a warm, humid day.
Lindor homered in the first inning on Monday. Napoli hit the 2-run shot off Flynn yesterday, and today it is Jason Kipnis. Oh, and 2.
Hands on top of it today. I like it. Thanks, buddy.
And Kinsler, you might remember last Friday for the Detroit Tigers, blasted a home run off of Ian Kennedy, and then Kennedy shut them out the rest 5 innings. A swing and a miss. Down goes Lindor, and 2 outs.
Yeah, and well, hopefully that's the same as today. You can settle in and try to keep that ball out of the middle. Secondary pitches are important, not just for Kennedy, but for every pitcher. But he's got some good ones. His changeup, curve, and slider are complementary. The changeup and curve are used almost equally as much.
Mike Napoli leads the club in home runs with 21 and also RBIs with 65. He's been a major addition in the offseason, a guy who's been to 7 postseasons the last 9 years.
So important to have guys that have been there and done it to lead the other young players who haven't.
Kennedy jumps in front. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ian's last start did not get the decision in a 4-2 loss at Detroit, despite giving up just 1 run and 5 1/3. He's now allowed a home run, though, in 9 straight games. Kennedy strikes out the side, but makes a mistake to Jason Kipnis, who goes deep. Cleveland leads it 1-0. Kansas City pitching has allowed 21 first-inning home runs this year.
Wow, that's a lot, and just 24 in all of last season. Got to find a way to keep it in the yard early.
Royals are a very good comeback team. 19 come from behind victories. Escobar will lead things off. Then Chester Cuthbert, who has been placed in that 2-hole in the order in the last 2 games, came through last night, and he is 4 for 6 in this series. And here is Carlos Carrasco. He would be leading the American League in ERA at 2.49 if he had enough innings, but he missed 6 weeks because of a left hamstring injury.
Yeah, but I like the fact that the Royals jump on him. Look at that opponent's average, 396 in 2 starts. look up to your high, let her fly. Firm fastball, just like the previous two starters, Kluber and Salazar.
Escobar 2 for 9 in this series. He has scored a run. One ball, one strike. That Carrasco fastball in the low to mid 90s.
Like the previous two pitchers again, you know, Carrasco, he can spin the ball well. He's got some good stuff. Now that fastball, they're hitting 291 off of it. He's going to go to the changeup, curve, and slider. Those are his complementary pitches. Stay on the heater, look for it.
Look at the batting averages against those off-speed pitches, man. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Talked with Escobar before the game about him swinging a little bit wildly, and he said he's going to do his best to try to focus on just the middle. Look at, he's working a 3-1 count here. Rare that he sees this many pitches in his first time up.
And he hits it sharply with right at Jason Kipnis, and there's 1 out.
So when you wait and get yourself a good hitting count, then you get a good pitch. You can hit it like that. Hit it hard at it. Indians defense. Jose Ramirez has been a really big player for them this year. Whether he's playing third base or left field or second base or shortstop, he can do it all. He's been good defensively, but really swinging a good bat.
Uribe taking the afternoon off. He started at third the last 2 games. Cheslor Cuthbert takes a first pitch changeup off the plate, ball 1. Cheslor has had the most offensive success against these Indians in this series with 4 hits and 6 times up. In there, 1-1.
Carrasco shook his head after that pitch because that was a hittable pitch that was hung up there. It just spun in the middle, and maybe Cuthbert later in the game won't miss that one. It's the one you could just put a good swing on and get underneath that ball.
He hits that one to left field off the end of the bat. Davis took a step back, now comes in for the catch, and they're 2 out.
Good read. Swung that bat. It didn't get on the meat of it. Carrasco beat him. Sometimes you get out ahead of the ball, or he gets in on you, he jams you, but this one's off the end. So yeah, very off the end of the bat. Now it's hard for an outfielder to read that, but Davis had no problem.
Now Hosmer, who's put together a modest 4-game hit streak. They really need his production. Eric with only 1 home run since June 10th, and that was that 2-home run game off of Chris Sale.
Yeah, and he was on fire early in the season. I think, you know, second, third time through, they're pitching him a little bit differently, and that is inside. I mean, they're really pounding him in, and it's up to him to have to, you know, show some plate discipline and lay off of those pitches, and then eventually they'll get to him. But you got to show patience. It's hard because, you know, as a hitter, you want to go out there and get it.
Was expecting fastball, got the slider at 84 miles an hour, and now he's behind in the count, 1-2. Carrasco's last start, he beat the Minnesota Twins last Friday, gave up 2 runs in 6 2/3 innings with just 1 walk. To third, Ramirez, and a comfortable first inning for Carlos Carrasco. by Dodge. Find your summer of performance with great deals at the Dodge Summer Clearance Event.
Don't you just love the fountains here? No other ballpark in the world has a ballpark like this. And when you see the fans sitting out there by those fountains with their cold drink, it just cools them off.
We are the city of fountains.
Well, we've talked a lot in the first two games about the difference that this young man Jose Ramirez has made. Through July 19th, let's show you. Same time last year, he was scuffling. This year, he's a difference maker. Using the whole field, he's an extremely confident hitter. Ty Van Berkeley, his hitting coach, said that his mechanics are just right. He's got a good lower half, he's loading up well, and he's swinging with confidence.
Still just 23 years of age, out of the Dominican Republic. And I would imagine, Hud, at that young an age, you're usually wanting to start, have one position to move around, and usually it's a veteran player that does that.
Yeah, but he has athleticism.
Dyson will run this one down in left center field.
If you're an athlete, that makes up for a lot of missteps. You can handle any position. But the confidence has to come with that, though. Don't
you have to have the will to play many positions? Because like we said, when you're young, you want to play one. I'm a shortstop. Let me play shortstop.
You have to. It's all about your communication from your field general, Terry Francona. He calls guys in his office and says, hey, this is what I see for you. And so he's on the same page with them. And he gives them confidence, and he says, look, you know, you can do a lot for our team. You can play different spots. You know, we're going to put you in different spots in the order too, but you're my difference maker. So when you communicate with your employees like that, it gives them confidence to go out and do it. And then when you add veteran players like Juan Uribe has been a big influence to Ramirez. Spring training, Terry Francona told me that Ramirez was sitting right next to a locker next to each other, next to Uribe, and Uribe, a fellow Dominican, gave him some good advice on different subjects. And you know, that's what you need, a veteran guy that can help mentor you. And there's Lindor, another young player looking at the veteran who's been to many postseasons, a two-time world champion.
I don't know if I'd take him up on his attire on a day where the heat index is 106. He's got a towel around his neck and wearing a jacket.
Hey, look, he's staying warm. That's unusual. He's a cool customer, though, believe that. He's enjoying his off day.
Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. It looks like some dirt got into Ian Kennedy's glove, and he had to take it off and shake it out of the fingers. Gets a swing and a miss from Chisenhall. That's the 4th strikeout already from Kennedy, and that's 110 this year.
And that, in 105 innings pitched coming in, is impressive. Whenever your strikeouts, you have more strikeouts than innings pitched, usually tells you have some kind of dominant pitch. And for Kennedy, it's his fastball. And he's not afraid to challenge guys.
He needs one more to move into the top 10 in the American League. Drew Smyly is 1 ahead of him at 111. The AL leader is David Price of Boston with 141. And there goes Davis to center field. Dyson off to the races. He gets there. Look at that speed by Jarrod Dyson. Wow.
And I'm telling you, he was on his horse on contact. There's no way that a center fielder can make that play unless you react quickly. No wonder the Royals are plus 27 in defensive run save this year. That is an outstanding jump. Good concentration. Yeah.
enjoy some sunshine, but make sure you put that sunblock on. It is a hot one here in KC. Kendrys Morales, the batter, and he swings and foul tips the first pitch off. And that kind of hurt Roberto Perez, who wobbles to get the baseball.
Sure it does. Man, I tell you, that spot back there, oh, you got to really have a very low pain tolerance or high pain tolerance. You got to be able to absorb those blows and stay in the game. Even with all that shin guard, all those chest protector, the mask, and all that stuff they've got. Look, when that ball is being thrown up there 90 plus, when they foul it off, it hurts. And you'll notice home plate umpires, most of them all standing on the inside part of the plate. You know why they do that? If they're on the other side, they get hit by foul balls. They stay on the inside. You'll see them to protect themselves. The ball on the inside part of the plate on the handle of a hitter, when he fouls it off, it doesn't hurt as much. It takes a lot less off it. But when it comes off the barrel and you're on the outer half, the ball actually picks up speed off the barrel when they just foul tip it. Joe West was schooling me on that a couple of weeks ago. He's been an umpire for 40 years, and he told me why they position themselves there. And he did answer my question of, does the ball actually pick up speed when the guy fouls one off? And he gave me that explanation.
They continue to work Kendrys Morales inside. They hit him in the foot, and then he fouled the ball off of his foot later in Monday's game, a 7-3 Royals victory. Roberto Perez, of course, finally healthy after missing almost the entire season because of a broken right thumb, and he got activated just in time because Yan Gomes, their everyday catcher, was injured on Sunday and placed on the DL. High pop-up. Lindor wants it, takes it, 1 out. Fans, don't miss out on a great Royals ticket at a big discount with the second half saver packs. You can choose any remaining 3, 5, or 7 Royals home games, including matchups with the Yankees, Blue Jays, and Indians, while saving up to 30% off the regular dynamic price. The more you buy, fans, the more you save. Take advantage today by purchasing a second half saver pack at Royals.com/saverpack. But those crowns.
Yeah, nice to see the buses outside of Kauffman Stadium here with the kids all getting out in their different colored shirts so they can keep an eye on them.
Perez with a shot to third, picked off nicely by Ramirez, and Salvi is out number 2.
That's why you play deep as a third baseman. You want to be able to think that you have time to react and then just take your time on a hot smash and get a nice easy throw over there. Ramirez a shortstop by trade.
Last year, Paulo Orlando hit 7 home runs. He's playing just about every day. He's only hit 1 this year, and it's been 173 at bats since his last home run, and that was against Koji Uehara of the Boston Red Sox.
Well, it's important that he doesn't look at that statistic, because if he changes his approach, his average is going to go down, and he's going to get a lot more whiffs swinging for the fences. Home run's a byproduct of a good, easy swing. It'll happen.
It's like George Brett used to say, don't try and hit it far, just try and hit it hard.
Yeah, and then you'll catch him every so often right in the right spot.
We saw that from Christian Colon the other day with that Butcher boy, where he showed bunt, pulled it back, just trusted his hands and drove it about 350, 60 feet.
Yep. It's all about the nice, easy swing. That's a reacting swing, too. It's not a muscle type swing.
Orlando has picked things up, 10 hits, his last 30 at bats. That was right after an 0 for 18 stretch.
And that 0 for 18 stretch, he was reading the fact that he didn't have any power. And he was trying to do more than he was capable of. reason he wasn't getting playing time. So he kind of came out of his game a little bit. That'll do it.
He had 2 singles yesterday, 1 to right field and 1 up the middle that hit off the second base. In there, strike 3 called. First for Carrasco.
You 94 degrees, heat index of 106, and that is Irene Pauley celebrating her 95th birthday. Who cares about the heat? She wants to see her Royals play. Forget about that weather. Happy 95th birthday to Irene Pauley. Boy, she is smiling and having a great time watching her Royals play.
And Joel, I was watching her, and every word out of her mouth was thank you, thank you. She's a very grateful woman, you could tell, and everybody around her was applauding her as our camera was on her. Probably was John.
How about the energy? Look at her, that smile, the life that she has in her. She just wants to see a Royals victory. That's what she wants. Glad you could come, Irene.
Now Kennedy to face Tyler Naquin, and he hits one deep to left field. Eibner going back, and that ball is gone. A home run. Naquin has belted 11 home runs this year, and about half of them against Kansas City.
Yeah, it seems like it. How about that ball carrying like that? It looked like a jam shot. That looked like that was going to be a sure out by left fielder Brett Eibner. Hangs. It was a hanging curve right down the middle of the plate. And when you put a nice easy swing on that we've been talking about, and you catch the back underside of the ball, it gets backspin and carries over.
Roberto Perez takes high ball 1, so Kennedy is now allowed 24 home runs. Second most in the American League to the Royals' Chris Young.
Every one of these games against Cleveland, the Royals have fallen behind early.
And falling behind on the long ball. Kennedy really using that curveball changeup combination to Roberto Perez, who's trying to get his timing down. He still does not have a hit this year. He has walked 7 times, but Paulo Orlando moves about 5 steps to his right to make the catch, and there's 1 out.
Now, scoring early really is something that you want to give your team a little bit of momentum, but the numbers, when the Royals score first, they're 34-10, but when the opponents score first, the Royals are just 13-36. Now look, they have 19 come from behind wins. They're at home. They have a lot of magic late in games, but it sure is tough when you're facing that type of starting pitching that they have to be able to come, put the pressure on the offense to come back.
And Cleveland has all 5 starting pitchers in the top 20 of the American League earned run average race.
So that means they're not giving up many runs.
No.
Starting pitching is the currency of Major League Baseball. Now the Royals didn't exactly have a knock your socks off rotation last year or the year before that. They've had a deep bullpen. Ned used them properly, so no one got worn out, and they went ahead and went to the mountaintop the last 2 years, so it can be done. They've got to be just so good.
Yeah, in 2014 they were very close to 1,000 innings, and that is Dayton Moore's usual goal at the start of a season. The starters go deep, hand it off to a very deep and talented bullpen. With the injuries to Young and Medlin, that was a setback, and the team expected Mike Minor to be back by early June. That didn't happen. Fouled off. But it was good to see Mike throw live batting practice yesterday. He could be sent out on a rehab assignment within a week. His next responsibility, of course, will be a simulated game, then a rehab assignment, and he is a very talented left-hander who we had a chance to see with the Atlanta Braves.
Well, with the off day tomorrow, they'll skip the 5th guy next time. That gives them an extra week in the rotation. But I talked with him today, and I said, how do you feel after your simulated game yesterday? And he said, I feel good, because usually it's the day after that you want to know how the pitcher feels after throwing 35, 40 pitches. So that's a good sign. Could use Mike Minor.
Foul back. And that other interesting news that came through Joe Goldberg yesterday about Kyle Zimmer, that thoracic outlet syndrome. If you did not listen to last night's game, Joe talked about that injury that Kyle Zimmer, and he'll have surgery for that injury. Chris Young had it. Matt Harvey, that has set him out this season for the New York Mets. Nice ball up and in.
You got to believe most folks here in Kansas City are watching the Royals. That's the most watched program of any other program there is on all the 500 channels you can get now. It's a hot ticket. They're fun to watch.
And there is ball fall to Carlos Santana.
Fans of the Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City are offering a unique way for fans across the Midwest to enjoy a game at Kauffman Stadium. It's the Forever Royal Fan Express. Fans in designated markets will have the opportunity to win a trip to the K. Next stop is Columbia and Jefferson City on July 23rd. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information. That's a lot of fun. All aboard.
One on, one out for Kipnis, who went deep for the 16th time back in the first inning, and Kennedy goes off the plate, ball 1. Well, he's hit into 14 double plays. Why not 15?
Not like the way you're thinking.
Kennedy more a fly ball pitcher than a ground ball pitcher. He locates that four-seamer well.
He is. He is 105 innings pitched coming into this game. He's only induced 3 ground ball double plays.
Eibner at the warning track makes the catch and immediately brings it to second base. Back to first is Santana, 2 out.
Amazing how this warm, humid air, the ball travels. Any little pop-ups that look like routine pop-ups, and outfielder's going to have to get back on them.
So does that give the advantage to Carrasco because he's more of a ground ball pitcher, strikeout pitcher than Kennedy, who's a strikeout fly ball pitcher?
Well, you know what? You'd think that the advantage would not be in Kennedy's favor. A fly ball pitcher like that, and we're seeing the swings that they're putting on him already early in this game. You know, he's already given up 2 home runs. Sure, they're solo shots, but unfortunately the Royals can't get anything elevated like that. So that just goes to show you, when you're offensive hitter against Carrasco, you gotta look him up and try not to miss it. The Royals offense, they don't have the ability to lift those low balls that where the pitcher wants to make that living. So they got to focus on the ones they can lift, those ones up.
Lindor, much like the weather against the Royals, red hot. I mean, hitting .384 in his career against Kansas City. .444 coming into this game, but Kennedy did strike him out swinging first time up. One and 2. He has been a better player in the major leagues than he was in the minor leagues.
And you know, sometimes, Fizz, it's a little bit easier up here because most of these big league pitchers have a lot better command. They're right around the plate. But I guarantee you that defense and that athleticism he shows out there on the other side of that ball, man, he played that way in the minors too. He's gifted.
You know, a lot of scouts that I talk to say the same words about Raul Mondesi, who's now at AAA Omaha, just 20 years old. And Raul yesterday went 3 for 5, was a single short of the cycle.
And he very well could possibly be like Lindor, but we won't know that until he gets here. They're not rushing him. He's a young guy.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, you got Escobar and you got Merrifield and Colon, who are handling second base, and just wait and see what they do on Mondesi, and eventually he'll get his opportunity. That ball being around the plate is a whole lot different than it is when you're going up to there in the minors, and these guys are throwing hard, but they're wild.
Lindor swings and misses, then flips the bat and the helmet away in disgust as he strikes out for the second time against Ian Kennedy.
There you go. Everything out of the zone. Beautiful.
a look at our Jeep drives of the game. Home run by Kipnis and a home run by Naquin.
Yeah, but you know, those balls, they weren't hit. And you're going, oh, man, that's out of here. Now, look at that. That looked like just a lazy fly ball on a summer afternoon. And the carry, plus there is some wind pushing it in that left field direction. Good call by Ned Yost to give Alex Gordon a day off and then let Eibner out there and see what Eibner can do.
Yeah, we were talking with Ned about Alex taking the day off, and Ned simply said, you know, Alex is a veteran and he asks so much from himself and sometimes gets frustrated, and today is about stepping back and relaxing. And I want you to know Ned said that wearing a Gordo Nation t-shirt.
Well, yeah, so he has the utmost confidence in him, and so does Alex. But maybe the veteran Alex could go to that guy who's paid to help these guys and make some adjustments, and maybe say, hey, look, let's do some stuff. Let's change some things around. They're not working. It's time for adjustments from Alex.
Gordo so instrumental to the team's success in 2014 and 2015. That collision of knees with Moustakas, and Mike out for the season because of that knee injury, and Gordo missed about 6 weeks because of a fracture in his right wrist. Brett Eibner is the second strikeout victim of Carlos Carrasco. You know, I was talking with Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach for the Cleveland Indians, about Carrasco and Yordano Ventura. And he said Yordano Ventura is going to be a great pitcher. He just is evolving. He's only 25. And he said, let me tell you a story about Carlos Carrasco. When he was 26 years old, he had an ERA of 6.75, and we all thought he was going to be terrific. There goes Naquin, who will reach that one for the second out. But in 2013, just 3 years ago, Mickey said, I told him, you're better than this. You need to own up to your talent. He didn't pitch inside, and opponents were diving over the plate. He was afraid to pitch inside after he hit guys, Kevin Youkilis and Robbie Cano. And then 2011, he hit Billy Butler, got another suspension. So he was all wrapped up in those emotional things. But he said Carrasco has become one of the elite pitchers in the game, and Mickey feels that Ventura can do that too.
Oh, nice comparison. Very similar stuff. Carrasco with a slider. He's got 4 pitches. Ventura has 3, but it takes time to evolve. You might have a golden arm, but you know, you've got to be able to harness all of that energy and that competitiveness until you can find yourself and get confident, a lot like Danny Duffy's doing.
Santana with the catch. Colon is out. Carrasco has faced 9 and retired all 9. And our premier Mazda game break is about where we are heading tomorrow. In 1985, the world champion Royals visited the White House in '86 and met Ronald Reagan. That was a fantastic scene. Talking with Denny Matthews about that, he said it was a wonderful opportunity, and Denny was able to share stories about broadcasting with President Reagan. There's Ewing Kauffman with him.
That looks really special. They held it outdoors. We'll see where the Royals will hold their parade or their engagement.
Barack Obama has officially invited the team to his residence. We'll travel off after today's game and our sprint trivia. What member of the '85 champion Royals was later traded to the Indians? Give you the answer later in the game. But Ned Yost told us it will be his 5th president he will meet. Jimmy Carter, both Bushes, and Bill Clinton.
Good for him.
Yeah, he can't wait to make the trip. He said Jimmy Carter, you know, he's with the Atlanta Braves, loved baseball, came to many Braves games, and would come in, and he and Bobby Cox would get together and they'd talk for 15-20 minutes with Mr. Carter.
Sure is nice, and you get a little photo op, and you can have a little collection you can show some of your family and friends as your experiences that the game allows.
He said he met Bill Clinton after the Braves won the '95 World Championship, and they went in '96, and that was a great meeting. So George Bush Sr. and obviously Jr. big baseball fans.
So back to the veterans that Francona acquired. Mike Napoli, Rajai Davis, and they had him, and of course Uribe. So what these guys are teaching the rest of these young unproven players is don't be out there playing for arbitration. Don't be playing for yourself. Don't be looking for an opportunity to get traded somewhere. We all have to pull together and care about one another, and when you do that, it's a lot like the Kansas City Royals. They're trying to take their pattern of the way they care for one another, and all they want is their teammate to succeed above themselves. So they're teaching that now in Cleveland, and when you have a leader like Terry Francona, who's been there a couple of times and won it, he knows that they've got to be able to all be pulling on the same end of the rope.
Swing and a miss, and 6th strikeout for Kennedy. But Terry Francona is in his 4th year, HUD, with Cleveland, and 16th as a major league manager. He started with Philadelphia in 1997, and he talked to us about one of the top free agents he signed.
My first year as a major league manager, we knew we were going to kind of struggle because we had some young guys, and he was our main target. And it wasn't just because we thought he was a good player, but we thought that he'd be really good around young guys. And you know what? He was. He got hurt, and it was hard for him, but he never lets you down on the effort department. I mean, he's got skin laying all over every field in the National League, and you know, I mean, that's, again, when you're done playing and you can kind of say, man, I gave everything I had, which he certainly did.
Wow. Tito,
pumped you up.
Thank you, Tito. But you know what? It was very depressing that I couldn't perform like I wanted to. The hamstrings were giving in. You know, you want to produce, but you know what? My second job was to mentor the young Scott Rowlands and some of the 21, or actually 12 rookies on that team his first year. It was not easy, but you know what? That's when you head to the ballpark and you put your own self behind, and you walk in them clubhouse doors and says, all right, what am I going to do for my team today? So that's part of the job of being a big leaguer, especially when you're late in your career, is what can you do for others? How can you mentor others? And Francona, proud to have him on my great managerial list. Managers I got to play for.
And he said he learned so much in that Philadelphia experience, which allowed him to go to Boston, and they did acquire the right veterans and won the world championships there.
And it was tough for him in Philly. Whenever he went to the grocery store, they let him have it. Anywhere off the field, it was not easy for him.
I remember his 92-win season 3 years ago, and then he was saying, "You guys are scary. You're getting good," and meaning the Royals. And sure enough, the Royals in 14 would win the wild card and move on to become the American League champions. And he saw that excellence coming with guys like Hosmer, Moustakas, Perez, and Kane. Ball struck to left. Eibner is there.
And you know, there are some times when you're a new manager, you're going to be challenged and there's going to be issues. I remember the first clubhouse meeting he ever held in his managerial career. Mike Munoz was a 6'8", 300-pound pitcher, and Mike Lieberthal was a young catcher. And Munoz was telling the newspapers that he didn't like Lieberthal, the way he was setting up. So basically, he was bagging his catcher in front of the media. So Terry had to do something about that. He held a meeting. He stood up. He said, "We can't play winning baseball when you have guys like that aren't pulling on the same end of the rope, supporting each other." And what you said to the media, as he pointed to Munoz, he called him a name that most guys would come after you. He stood up. And then when the meeting was over, I went in his office and I said, "Tito, that was awesome." He goes, "Hud, just stay there in case he comes in here." I said, "I got your back." So, you know, sometimes, you know, in the heat of the battle, when it's a closed door meeting, when you hear from your skipper, you know, you have to do that at times.
Ned Yost does a great job with these Royals. I mean, certainly they have had their share of woes this year with so many injuries, but he still believes that they are going to battle through this thing. They're going to get healthy. And this indeed is a big homestand with the first place Texas Rangers coming in next. First in the West, it'll be Darvish and Duffy on Friday, and Hamels against Ventura on Saturday, and Griffin and Volquez on Sunday. So plenty of great seats available. Come out to the ballpark. Bring your noise.
That's right. They'll be expecting it. Gotta have that support here, and it's a good crowd here for such a hot day. But you know, the biggest trait that Ned Yost has, and what I've seen in 5 years, is the fact that he backs his players.
Yeah.
I mean, to no end. He's going to stay behind them. He's going to stay true to them. And so in turn, when a player knows that your manager's got your back, you're going to go out and perform. And now he's got leaders. He's got star players out there. So they patrol the clubhouse. They police it.
Came too far inside on Chisenhall and hits him. Either way, he was going to get on base. That would have been ball 4 or hit by a pitch, but he's hit by a pitch. So 1 on with 2 out here in the 4th. 2-0 Cleveland.
It's his 8th hit batter. Kennedy. And you know, that leads the Royals staff in hit batters, which is not a bad category to lead in. You can't let those guys get comfortable, and especially the way he's utilizing his fastball this year, he's got to be able to back them off and get that outside part of the plate that way.
Now Rajay Davis, who was robbed of extra bases on an excellent catch by Gerard Dyson in center field back in the 2nd. Line drive, this time in the gap. Chisenhall will make it to third, 1st and 3rd for Cleveland.
Cleveland Indians there doing a good job of milking the pitch count of Kennedy. 73 pitches here in the 4th inning. Steamy day like this, that's what you want if you're facing your opponent. Keep them on the field longer defensively. Wear them down.
Naquin with an opposite field home run, his first time up. Batting 8th. A guy batting 8th who's hitting .318. Ball 1, and Salvi calls time. And as we take a look at our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, you'll see Naquin right at the top among American League rookies in batting average at .318. Cheslor Cuthbert at .292 with Merrifield at .276. Not bad.
Well, that's going to help him boast his average and his power numbers, and that's a pitch that you want to hit hard. It's a hanging breaking ball, and when you catch that underside with that top spin on it, it just kicks off and goes.
And he rips that one down the right field line. This will score 1, possibly 2. Yes, Davis will come home to make it a 4-0 game, and Naquin with 3 RBIs today.
Naquin having a breakout rookie season. Brad Mills, he's an outfield instructor, told me he just keeps it simple. He goes out and reacts and plays, and that's what you want. He's not thinking. You see the little change up there? It was well located down, but man, Naquin just using his hands, just powders that ball down the line, takes it with him, drops the head of that bat. There's more trouble for Kennedy and the Royals.
And even though the Royals have tomorrow off, Ryan Flynn only went 2 1/3 innings yesterday, so Dylan G is not available, and they need Ian Kennedy to go deeper into this game.
Well, certainly they do, but you know, you got to credit the Tribe. The Tribe, they are relentlessly attacking the Royals, getting the big hits, and the Royals aren't. The Royals haven't even scratched a hit today off Carrasco.
All the trouble with 2 outs as Kennedy struck out Napoli and got Ramirez on a fly ball to left, but then he hit Chisenhall on a 3-2 count. Davis singled, Naquin doubled. 4-0 Cleveland. And he is disciplined. He is still looking for his first hit of the year, even though he's walked 7 times. But man, oh man, he takes the close ones.
Out.
2-2.
Our Phillips 66, what's in the tank? Is the Royals 13 3+ inning relief outings this year. That's a lot. Now the Astros only have 1 more, but that'll tell you that starting pitching's not going deep, and it's taxing the bullpen.
I think the home plate umpire was just making sure that they changed it on the scoreboard. It was a 3-1 count, but the count is really 2 balls, 2 strikes after the foul off. Now he misses inside. The count is full 3-2.
Well, Kennedy looked like he backed away, like he thought that might have been a strike, and it was close. Good changeup, but dismissed.
Thought they'd give him the close ones on a hot day.
You know, he's been using his fastball. He's got to come with that here.
Really goes right after him at 91 miles an hour above the belt, strikes him out. He has 7 strikeouts, but a big hit by Naquin. The top of the order is coming up: Escobar, Cuthbert, and Hosmer.
Kauffman Stadium. The Indians were hoping to make a move close to the deadline, at least as in getting their own guy back, one of the best players in the American League, Michael Brantley. And Fizz and Hud were talking yesterday about how he was getting very close, but our University of Kansas Hospital injury report, a setback yesterday for Brantley. He had begun the year on the disabled list following shoulder surgery, came back maybe a little bit early on April 25th, played in 11 games, went back on the DL. He had been rehabbing, but Terry Francona saying that he felt it in the shoulder again the other night, and so they're backing him off and step back for Michael Brantley. So they've been dealing with injuries too, but so far they've got the better record.
Boy, do they ever, and their offense really hasn't missed a beat, and they expected to, losing Brantley, who 2 years ago was third in the MVP in the American League.
Well, you got guys stepping up. Jose Ramirez is doing a nice job. Tyler Naquin filling in admirably.
As a team, they're averaging just under 5 runs per game. That's without Brantley.
You can really help yourself if you're an outfielder by learning how to dive so you can stay away from those shoulder injuries. How many times do you see an outfielder go on the DL when he dives wrong? Okay, it's important you land on your chest. Watch him. He's going to land on his right shoulder. See how his hips were turned? You want to dive straight out on your chest with your arms up, and you'll stay away from any of these shoulder injuries. And if you want to get good at it, go in your backyard this summer, wet the grass down, get a slip and slide, work on going on your chest with your arms in the air. That's how you make plays, whether they're in, to your left, to your right, or even back. You're always diving the same way.
Rex Hudler is the only parent in his neighborhood that has kicked kids off of their slip and slide so he could work out on diving head first.
No, look, I'm telling you, it's going to keep you out of the tub. And off the disabled list. That's the whole key.
Here's an example of that. Michael Brantley, 6'2", 200 pounds. That's a big man. Garrett Anderson of the Angels was 6'4", 235 pounds, and there were fans who would say he never dives for a ball. And I go, all I could say was, excuse me, sir, he plays 155 to 160 games a year. If you're 6'4" and 235 and you dive, you break. His job, stay in the game, get hits, knock in runs. And maybe Brantley should stop diving.
Well, he obviously, Brantley didn't look comfortable on that dive. Garrett Anderson, whom you mentioned, wasn't comfortable diving. Tim Salmon, the right fielder, he never dove on his chest. He would do it. He would slide coming in. He would slide and make a catch. Some guys aren't comfortable doing that. And if you're not, then don't do it.
Here is Cheslor Cuthbert as Carrasco has retired the first 10 Royals he's faced. Carrasco's best game ever came against Kansas City last September 25th. A one-hit shutout with 2 walks and 15 strikeouts. But there's an asterisk you can put by that because it was the day after the Royals clinched their Western title, and the reserves were in the starting lineup that September day. Carrasco, though, remembering that, he still dealt. 2-1.
There's a confident factor with this rotation. There's no doubt about it. But when your offense goes out and scores you early runs, you're even better when you get out there. So you can credit the Cleveland's offense in this series for jumping out ahead and putting the pressure on the Royals offense, giving their pitching some breathing room.
Came in on Cuthbert there, and I believe I said the West, the Central, obviously. Royals won last year, and then Carrasco pitched that next day. Cuthbert to left, that's deep, and over the head of Rajai Davis. That's the first base runner, the first hit of the game off of Carlos Carrasco, and Cuthbert's hit streak is now 10 straight.
There you go. There's a pitch there that he took an easy swing on, but that's the one. Remember, in his at-bat before, Carrasco missed with a little slider in the same spot. This time, second at-bat, Cuthbert doesn't miss it. Very good swing. Short, compact, just got underneath it, but couldn't quite barrel it enough.
Well, it was so far in, though. How do you barrel it?
You keep your hands inside close to your body and you pull that barrel through and let it stay fair. When your hands are inside of that baseball, you're not going to get any side spin to hook it. It's all about the spin you can put on that baseball as a hitter when it leaves your bat.
Now Hosmer, who grounded out to third first time up, they play him with a pull slightly. Hosmer just 3 RBIs in his last 17 games.
Yeah, not like him. I gotta have him. He's their guy. Let's watch Cuthbert again to see how he's able to get to this ball. Okay, a little soft step there with his foot. I like that. Okay, he's not overstrike, but look at how he's pulling his hands in. See that? He's pulling his hands inside, keeping it fair, and just staying right through the ball. Ball was in on him, but you keep the hands in close. That's how you're able to keep that ball fair down the line and not hook.
Hosmer, foul.
See, and what the opposing pitchers are doing to Hosmer now is pounding him in, getting Hosmer looking in, and then going away with breaking balls. So they've all been trying to get him out, in and down. And they've been successful because he's been swinging at him. But once he starts taking them, take his walks, then they'll have to come into it.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
He's not seeing it. They're set by a half a foot.
He chases another bad ball in the dirt, strikes out.
So what we're talking about now, look, Carrasco and Kluber, Salazar, all of their starters have good stuff, but they're not gonna give you anything to hit. Watch Hosmer. He's had him off balance. Backside flew out. Over aggressive. That's what that is. It's being too aggressive.
Change up to Kendrys Morales for strike 1. Indians have scored on a solo home run by Kipnis in the first, another solo blast by Naquin in the third, and a 2-run double by Naquin in the fourth. Did he go? Yes, he did. Boy, he's really teasing the Royals with pitches that are not strikes, and he'll continue to stretch the zone if Casey continues to swing at these pitches.
Right. It's that simple, really. But so what you guys got to tell yourself, I'm going to lay off. Well, look for my pitch, not swing at his. And sometimes it's hard to do. But you know what, though? These guys are big leaguers. They're trying to compete. And this is a big game here. 2-game swing.
4 strikeouts for Carlos Carrasco. The Royals break up his no-hitter. We head to the 5th inning, 4-0 Cleveland. Buck O'Neill legacy seat, and after being unable to find any lacrosse programs in the Northland for her daughter to play, Kelly Siebert started a program for elementary and middle school girls. To build enthusiasm for the sport, Kelly held lacrosse clinics, developed a mentorship program, and worked with the Park Hill School District to secure practice fields, all while maintaining her full-time job as a pharmacist. Man, she can work. Well, today, the Park Bulldogs lacrosse team has grown 350%, has 3 teams participating in the KC Metro Youth Girls League, and Kelly is active on the KC Metro Girls Lacrosse Association.
Way to go, Kelly. Nice job.
Getting it done, man.
Get the gals out there. You know what? That's an extremely popular sport now.
There's not enough hours in the day. Holy smokes. Full-time job and then putting a whole program together. Well, here is Santana. He will lead off the 5th inning. He has struck out and walked. Kennedy has allowed 4 runs on 4 hits. Infield plays him with a dramatic pull. Strike. 1-1. Cleveland 3-2 since the All-Star break. And they've been great against the American League Central. 29-13. That's the best in division record.
Santana, just him alone can wear a pitcher down. With that plate discipline and the style that he has, he's very selective. He can milk that pitch count. Now Kennedy walked him in the 3rd inning, expended at least 10 pitches, fouling pitches off, taking them, going deep in the count. A lot of the tribe have had some long at-bats today. That's why Kennedy's pitch count's already at 86. And there it goes.
There goes Santana. And it is now 5-0 as Ian has given up his 3rd home run today. That was the no-doubter.
Heater, middle. Short, compact stroke. Not a fielder moved.
Kennedy's 87th pitch is a strike. Meantime, Carrasco has only thrown 49 pitches.
You know, it's almost, we're seeing contrasting styles between hitters. More patient Cleveland Indians. Our guys, seems like they're desperate. They're desperate to get some offense going, but you don't have to do it by swinging at so many bad pitches. You know, you draw walks, get on base, and then get the single. It seems like we're so anxious to do something, and the opposing pitchers sense that, and they're not going to throw anything good to hit.
The difference between going 1 for 4 and 1 for 3 is 83 points. 1 for 3 with the walk.
How about that? Does a lot for your average.
The Indians doing a very good job fouling off the tough pitches. And there's strike 3 called. 8 strikeouts for Kennedy. Now we'll go to our T-Mobile greater coverage of Major League Baseball. Jeff Montgomery, 5 innings and a hit allowed at Milwaukee, the longest outing of his career. And he also in 1996 picked up his 239th career save, and he passed Dan Quisenberry for the most saves in Royals history. Congratulations to Monty.
Attaway, Monty. There he is. How about a wave at least, Monty? Thank you. Acknowledge the people because we love you. Yeah, we do. Pretty special when you can have a career like that. Longevity. And now we're blessed to be able to get his knowledge on the pre and post game shows and also in game.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Indians came in with a record of 55 and 38, a 6.5 game lead on Detroit and 8 games up on Kansas City, and they've had the best road success this year in the American League. That ball fouled off by Lindor. They are 29 and 22 away from Progressive Field.
And they're well balanced. They're winning, and when you have 5 horses like that, you're going to have a winning season, road and home.
Man, oh man, how many foul balls have they struck?
Yeah, this has been a taxing day on Kennedy. And lots of times when your offense is struggling, you know, and you're a pitcher, it puts pressure on you to not let them get any more runs. And sometimes when you're too fine, you leave pitches out over the middle. So he's trying hard.
And he brushed the jersey of Francisco Lindor and hits his second batter. Still no one up in the Royals bullpen.
Just barely got that uniform. That's the best way to get hit. No flesh involved. Second hit batter of the day for Kennedy.
He's been able to solve Mike Napoli, twice striking him out. He obviously has good stuff with 8 strikeouts in less than 5 innings.
Well, you know, this is not just a 2-horse team, Napoli and Lindor. Other guys are doing it now. Santana kicking in there, Kipnis, you know, Tyler Naquin.
Now we're seeing some action in the Kansas City pen as they peeled back the tarp. Peter Moylan has started to warm. Napoli with a big swing and miss, strike 1.
Well, the nice outing by G last night. G was able to eat up some innings after Flynn didn't go deep at all, and he ate up some innings, and Ned was going to use Moylan if he had to, but he didn't need him. So that's a good job of G to continue to, you know, help that bullpen some. So that's why he's got Moylan up.
G went 5 1/3 innings last night, threw over 90 pitches. So he won't be available until later this weekend.
Hit!
1-2. Uh-oh. Dyson going back, and that ball had a lot of carry to it. And that's 4 home runs allowed by Kennedy today to Cleveland, and they have opened it up a 7-0 lead. 22nd home run by Napoli.
Well, he's waiting for that pitch. He's waiting for that ball to come right in over that plate. Went with it. Elevation. Napoli improving on the high ball. Now that's 2 home runs he's hit in the series on pitches that were above his belt.
Our Chevy call to the bullpen brings on Peter Moylan. By your local Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Visit us for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 Kansas City metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. How about a little Moylan magic, which means shut out the Indians the rest of the way, and then the Royals offense might come up with their own magical times in the later frames. They've got great numbers.
Yeah. That's what you got to hope. Moylan, 2.74 ERA, 18th appearance, sinker slider.
The 7 runs allowed by Ian Kennedy ties him for the most he's allowed this year. He gave up 7 against the Yankees back on May 12th and 7 5 2/3 against the White Sox back on June 10th.
Now he may have missed with a few pitches in the middle, but you know, you have to credit the Cleveland Indians for coming in here and attacking. Really, look, they're on a mission. They knew what was at stake here in this 3-game series with the Royals, the defending champions. They put
I've been impressed with the way their hitters have competed every single at bat.
Right. It's like there's something on the line.
Moylan misses on a 3-1 pitch to Jose Ramirez. A walk, and now Chisenhall is the batter who has struck out and been hit by a pitch and scored a run. Cleveland right now a .260 hitting team, but they're averaging close to 5 runs per game, and they have 7 today. And that's shot up the middle by Chisenhall. So the inning will continue with a walk and a base hit. Tiger fans, join the Royals at the K for Mizzou night when the Texas Rangers are in town this Friday. The first 5,000 fans who bring their Mizzou themed night ticket through Gate A will receive a special edition gray, black, and gold branded KC cap, which includes the Mizzou logo, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. Visit Royals.com/theme tickets or call 1-800-6-ROYALS to purchase your ticket today. And Fridays are always special. You'll not only have that Mizzou night, but a great fireworks show on Friday night. Texas, awfully good team. That's going to be a good pitching matchup. Yu Darvish for Texas. Danny Duffy looking for win number 6 for the Royals.
Yeah, well.
Up the middle, base hit by Davis. And they're going to send Lindor home. He will score the Indians' 8th run.
Borden, he's got the right idea, keeping the ball down. It's just they're finding the holes. He wants to roll up a pair and get out of this inning. Royals defense been standing on that field for a long time. In this one, this inning here for sure.
Naquin takes strike 1. Yeah, it might be the time in the ball game where Ryan Blakeney expands that zone a little bit. The Indians 1 through 8 hitters, each with 1 run scored this afternoon. Naquin has already had a terrific game with a home run and a 2-run double. 26 RBIs this year. That's the only guy who has not crossed the plate. He is next.
Naquin's been hot today. Home run opposite field, double down the right field line. You know, and there's something to just going out there and playing and reacting. As Brad Mills was telling me about the rookie Naquin, the thing that impresses Mills the most is that he doesn't overanalyze pitching. You know, when you're a young player, you want all the knowledge you can get, but this kid just goes out there and reacts. He doesn't watch a lot of video. That's trouble.
Dyson way back. Wow. And that is a 3-run home run. And Tyler Naquin has a 6 RBI game, and that is the best in his career.
On fire.
They can do no wrong.
Ooh, man, that ball left his bat, and that bounced off the back wall of the stadium. Moylan not having any success at all. It's a good, easy swing. When you're hot, you're hot. Look what his hits. Woo. Back up on that 3rd wall.
So the number 9 batter will come to the plate, and Peter Moylan, who had to warm up rather quickly because Ian Kennedy was leaking oil here in the 5th inning, and he has walked a man, given up 2 singles, and now a home run, trying for his first out. And the Royals bullpen gets busy again. Strike.
Well, you know, on a day like today, it doesn't take a lot of pitches to get warm. That's for sure. Chris Young is up and seeing if he can come in here and get some action, get some outs.
1-2. Chris just started to throw. He pitched the 9th inning in the Royals' 7-3 victory on Monday. A tremendous come from behind effort. Low with the breaking ball. Second base. Colon will take care of it. And there's the second out. So the guy who started all the trouble for Ian Kennedy in this fifth inning, Carlos Santana, comes up. He blasted a home run to right field, deep into the seats beyond the bullpen. He takes high, ball one. Cleveland had a monster month of June. They put together a 14-game win streak. Since that time, they've lost 8 of 14. They have played pretty good baseball after the break, winning 2 of 3 from Minnesota. And it looks like they have a great chance of taking 2 of 3 here in Kansas City. Then they'll go to Baltimore. One of their longer road trips. There is ball 4 from Moylan.
Yeah, look at Carlos Santana continuing to compete. 11-0, and he's up there staying in his game. Moylan having a tough day, tough afternoon.
In there, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tyler Naquin, who's having a huge game with 6 RBIs, his first 6 RBI game. We talked about that. It was also his first multi-home run game. Up the middle, base hit for Kipnis. This is the Tribe version of keep the line moving.
I'll say. And they are doing it. They're just moving it and then hitting a few over the wall as well.
This will be the 12th batter to come to the plate. We've got another Chevy call to the bullpen as Chris Young will be called on to replace Peter Moylan. Rough afternoon for the Royals. lead over the Royals. We're in the top of the 5th inning, 2 outs. This has been a long top of the 5th inning. Our sprint trivia question we asked earlier today: what member of the 1985 champion Royals was later traded to the Indians? My guess is lefty Bud Black.
Hey, that's a good guess, Fizz. Let's see.
Got a chance to know as the pitching coach for the Angels. You and I did that team for a number of years. Yep, Bud Black. Good dude.
Wonder if he'll come to town next week. The Angels come to Kauffman Stadium. Chris Young, fastball, slider, occasional changeup. Having a tough year.
It was very interesting listening to Joel Goldberg talk about his conversation with Chris and the thoracic outlet syndrome that he had to go through, that Kyle Zimmer is now going through. And as Chris explained it, he had been through that pain for 4 years, and he said the next day after the surgery he could feel comfortable, and we're hoping that that'll be the same thing for Kyle Zimmer.
Oh, for sure, no doubt about it. That was a great piece that Joel did, one of many he does for us. But you know, that's it's amazing how these players, they can pitch and they can play with injuries, but then at some particular point and their production's not where it should be, that's when you say, hey, look, we got to find out what it is so we can get right.
And Joel, you're joining us now, so could you add a little bit more?
Yeah, you know, the one thing that Chris wanted to point out to me was that they're all different. So what happened for him, it may not match up to what has happened and what will happen to Kyle Zimmer, but it certainly got him back to where he needed to be. And it was a frustrating time because he'd spent so long not understanding why that shoulder was feeling the way it was. And of course, you're not thinking to look elsewhere in the neck. And he said he knew right when he woke up, Fizz, that his shoulder felt better than it had, and obviously things worked out. And so hopefully the same is true for Zimmer, and you know, this thing maybe solves some mysteries.
Escobar has it. They get 4 outs in the inning.
There you go. Look, hey, they've been out in the sun. Maybe a little sunstroke stepped in there, but look, didn't hurt their bats at all. The Tribe on the attack.
Kauffman Stadium, final game of this series between Cleveland and KC, and the Tribe with a big 7 spot in that 5th inning. 5 home runs for the Indians. Naquin hit 2, had 6 RBIs, and Naquin now has 5 homers and 11 RBIs in only 9 games against Kansas City this year. So Carlos Carrasco with a rather comfortable 11-0 lead. He'll settle in to face Salvador Perez. Strike one.
Now, it doesn't change, even though this is a game that looks like it's pretty lopsided. You still are not going to give any at-bats away. You want to compete.
Foul.
Watch out.
And you know, Rex, Carlos Carrasco missed 6 weeks with a left hamstring strain. Lorenzo Cain had a hamstring strain, and yesterday was the 3-week mark. So he's still a little bit away.
He is away, and I'm hoping that the Royals don't push Lorenzo Cain, and Lorenzo will be able to tell more than anyone.
Salvador chases one in the dirt, strikes out. And we talked with Lorenzo Cain about where he is in his return.
It's just a feel, you know. I feel like once I'm able to just turn loose and get comfortable with just running full speed again, then I know I'm ready to go. So I say it's definitely not where I wanted to be right now, but like I told him, it's getting close.
That's right. It's getting close, but it's not there.
And Joe Goldberg now joins us.
And talking also with head trainer Nick Kenny about this yesterday, and he said, look, to have had Lorenzo Cain back in the minimum 15 days really would have been pushing it. He said for him to be where he's at right now at 3 weeks is very good. And I mentioned to him what Hud says so often, that the hamstring is a lying muscle, and he looked at me and he said, man, you are not kidding at all. And he said, especially with a speed guy, when you're talking about a speed guy, you really have to make sure that they are completely healed, because it can get you back in trouble quickly. But he said very, very pleased with where he's at right now. This is something that oftentimes can keep someone out 4 to 6 weeks. So I sense that Lorenzo is maybe a little bit disappointed, but certainly saying it's not a setback. Nick Kenny saying they're where they need to be at this point.
Lindor juggled it a moment, still has time to throw out Orlando and barely gets him at first.
Good hustle by Paulo. Slight bobble by Lindor almost cost Carrasco an infield hit. You see this, he's going to try to find that handle. Sometimes it's not there, so you regroup and a quick shuffle of the feet, and just got him. And you know, watching Lorenzo on those routes that he was taking on the outfield, that's a great sign, because look, you know what, that hamstring, if you're taking routes like that and you're making cuts and things, if you feel it one time, that's when you shut it down. But obviously he kept going, so he's just going to have to build some strength in there now and get it strengthened up to where he's comfortable to be able to go 100%, and not before. There's no urgency to get Lorenzo Cain back here.
Right, he has just a strain. You had a hamstring tear.
Oh, you know what? I was blessed my entire career until I joined the Phillies, and it's the first time I ever had a hamstring issue in all them years of playing. Very thankful, but man, when you tear it, that's trouble. And I blew mine running 21 miles an hour on a treadmill right before I joined the Phillies in January, February, after I signed the contract, thankfully. And I blew that thing it was terrible, man. And I never could recover.
Back to the mound, Carrasco takes care of Eibner, and the Royals are done in the 5th. We head to the 6th, all Cleveland. Kansas City on a hot afternoon at Kauffman Stadium. The heat index had it at 106 degrees. Steve Physiok, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery. We're in the shade, but there's Fight Club Morgan. Joe, they're right in the heat. Donnie.
Let it go, fellas. Better bring it to us.
Ron Swanee.
Oh.
And Jay Wall.
There you go. Nice hat, Jay Wall.
They have been enduring the heat, much like these guys in the field. Whit Merrifield now taking over at second base for Kansas City. Christian Colon will move to short.
Be a nice little day and a half break for Escobar. Guy, he's started every Royals game this year.
And Drew Butera is now catching for Kansas City.
You know, this is a good opportunity for Chris Young. He wants to be able to seize this moment. He wants to show himself that he can get through some innings here by trying to keep the ball in the ballpark the best he can and build that confidence back up, and then in turn showing Ned Yost that he's going to be a viable option out of that bullpen.
Mike Napoli will lead things off. Blasted a 2-run home run back in the 5th. He's another guy who has had a very good year against Kansas City with 5 home runs this year, 11 RBIs.
Young gets by with a lot of swing and misses and pop-ups with that high fastball. Napoli, he's been getting to those pitches. Normally he's better from the knees down, but he's tomahawked 1, 2, and Chris Young, way to get back in it.
Yeah, Young was able to get that slider down and away from Napoli, who chased it. Now we'll do our Panera Bread around the league. Detroit and Minnesota, bottom of the 9th inning. The Twins leading the Tigers, and the Tigers, of course, were 6.5 games back of Cleveland to start the day. Chicago leading Seattle, bottom of the 2nd inning. St. Louis ahead of San Diego.
All of our photographers are great, and some of the guys are fortunate enough to just stay in one place. That's a tough job in itself. But John Pope, this guy, he's an active on his legs. He's got to stay hydrated. Fizz. Poper, make sure you're staying hydrated. He gets to run on the field. I envy him. He gets to go out there, chase the home run guys around the bases, and go to the pitcher's mound. He's got a fun job.
He has the brightest shoes of any cameraman in baseball.
They move quickly.
Yep.
That's why he wears them, so we can keep an eye on him. There they are. Look at him.
You know, he told me the story was, I think his grandmother wanted to see where he was, and he said, "Okay, Grandma, I'll wear bright orange shoes." There they are. I mean, those are classics.
Look at that. And see, he has the ability to shoot his own shoes. Better mix in some socks. Those.
Ready, Camera Pope. Take Camera Pope.
That's right.
Lonnie Chisenhall, good game. He's been on twice, hit by a pitch and singled, and he has scored 2 runs. Young backs him off with a fastball up. Hosmer has it, goes second, one. Young to cover, but they'll just take the out. And they're 2 down now.
Haas, nimble on his feet. Look at that. Picks it, turns in one little nice motion. Gets one out for sure. No chance to get him at first.
Now Rajai Davis, who easily could be 3 for 3. He has a pair of singles, a pair of runs scored, and an RBI. But the ball he hit the hardest, he was robbed of extra bases on a terrific running catch by Jarrod Dyson. That was back in inning number 2. And he hits this one pretty well to left center field, but Brett Eibner says he has it. He does. And Young with a shutout 6th inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Royals trail by 11. Indians over the Royals, and both teams making a lot of change as we chronicle the Royal changes. Eric Gonzalez will come into play second base for Jason Kipnis. He'll hit second, and Abraham Almonte will become the new left fielder for veteran Rajai Davis. This, of course, is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Aaron Smith from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Aaron will win $2,700. But if the Royals hit a grand slam, Aaron will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. We're pulling for you, Aaron.
Be nice. Royals have only scratched one single. It was a double off of Cuthbert. Spat, who continued his hitting streak at 10 games.
Dyson 0 for 1 flying out to center field his first time up. Carrasco has faced 1 over the minimum. That was a double by Cuthbert that broke up his perfect game in the 4th. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carrasco now with 6 strikeouts. Well, the 9 spot has certainly been impressive for Kansas City. That is Arcia in the driver's seat. The Royals lead Major League Baseball with a .297 average. The Royals' single season best came 4 years ago when they hit .293.
Yeah, you know, that's important. That number 9 spot is not necessarily for your weakest hitter. It could be a guy who can get on base, your second leadoff type guy. But you're going to love that production out of any spot in the order, but they'll take it.
And Ned likes that with Dyson hitting 9th, and he can roll it over, have another speed guy who can handle the bat, and Alcides Escobar gives you options to steal or hit and run, sacrifice. Colon popped up to the first baseman in foul territory his last time up. Whit Merrifield is in the on deck circle. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just high, 3-2. His next pitch will be his 70th. He has not had one taxing inning. The heat has been the only thing to really drain the energy from Carlos Carrasco as he's working into the 6th. That ball pretty well struck to center field, but Nake went back there and makes the catch for out number 2.
Hey fans, join us next Monday for Christmas in July for a day of holiday cheer and a special visit from Santa. Add to your collection of festive attire with an exclusive ugly holiday sweater Royals t-shirt available with the purchase of this themed ticket. Also be sure to bring a new unwrapped toys for special toys for Tots Drive on the day of the game outside the ballpark. Visit Royals.com/themed tickets for more information and to purchase your tickets today. For Monday, Angels will be in town. They wear red. I think it's a good time to have Christmas in July.
Well, Whit Merrifield of all the Royals has had the most success against Carlos Carrasco, even though it's a limited number of bats. He went 2 for 3 with a triple and a home run off Carlos Carrasco here on June 13th. First career home run. That was
nice.
That 3-game sweep by KC.
Yeah, a little slider that just stayed on the inner half, and he's able to barrel it.
2-1.
It's nice to have a guy like Carlos Carrasco on your first page in your what Merrifield hopes to have a home run book. It's a pretty good pitcher. If you play long enough, you get a book. Some guys only have a few pages and other guys have just a chapter. But look, he's got him a big league home run.
Fouled off. How about that? I like that. A walk. You know, even though you're down 11-0, you want to compete every single at bat, get better, break out of a slump. And for Whit Merrifield, he gets the walk with 2 out in the 6th inning. Here is Cuthbert, who owns the only Royals hit, a double over the head of the left fielder Rajai Davis back in the 4th. Low ball 1.
Listening to Ned Yost talk about the Cleveland Indians starters, he believed that Salazar might have the best stuff out of all of those starters. But talking with Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach of the Cleveland Indians, he says Carrasco is the guy with the best stuff on the staff. So when there's a debate whether you have, who's better, one or two guys, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he said Victor Martinez, who is 37 years old and has like 15 years in the big leagues, came up to him and said Carlos Carrasco is the best pitcher in the American League. And that's saying a lot with Chris Sale and names like that out there.
And on his own staff, Kluber.
Yep. Kluber got the win in the All-Star game.
He fortunately came out of that game the other night in Game 1. The Royals came back. It's the only win of the series. Wasn't Corey Kluber's fault.
Well, back-to-back walks to Merrifield and Cuthbert, the two rookies. Nothing doing down in the Cleveland bullpen.
Now maybe it's time that the Royals keep the Cleveland Indians defense out there, like the Cleveland Indians offense did the Royals back in that tough 5th inning, 7-run, 32-minute half inning.
Cleveland sent 12 men to the plate, scoring those 7 runs. They scored 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and 7 in the 5th.
Yeah, Mickey Callaway is probably telling Carrasco, hey, look, we'll get some action up out there in the pen. You've done really what we wanted you to. The offense supplies you with plenty of runs today, so maybe this will be your last hitter here. Try to get us through this inning.
Dan Otero begins to throw down in the Cleveland pen, as Carrasco has walked his first 2 this afternoon. He's allowed 1 hit. He's gotten Hosmer out twice, and last night mainly threw pitches in the dirt. Haas was very aggressive. Ball 1. Down the line. That's a fair ball, but a great play by Santana, and they get Hosmer at first base. Man, Cleveland doing everything right this afternoon.
Rats. That would have brought in 1, maybe 2. Good play. on the Royals 11-0. And our AT&T replay. Have a day. Tyler Naquin. Whoa, man, opposite field shot his first time up. Then he just had a nice handsy double down that right field line, and he wasn't done. He hit a bomb to center field. I mean, that ball was way back. 6 RBIs, 2 homers and a double. That's the second most RBIs by a rookie this season. Only Max Kepler of the Twins has more.
Wow.
But he's not done. Naquin.
He steps up again.
Has it?
That was our AT&T high-speed replay. Kendrys Morales now comes into the game defensively to give Hosmer the rest of the afternoon off, and that means Chris Young will have to hit if he's still around. But when Hosmer made out, Hos came out of the game. Young now hits in his spot. Dan Otero continues to throw for Cleveland. You wonder if Carrasco's afternoon is over. Three balls, no strikes to Tyler Naquin, who's homered, doubled, homered. 3 for 3, now batting .326, and he will walk. Second walk issued by Young. This will bring up Roberto Perez, the one guy in their batting order who has yet to reach. And yet to score. Well, you got to reach to score, but you get my point.
That's right.
That means the other 8 guys have scored a run. Out in front of that change up and fouled off. Wind picks up a little bit here at the K, and it's blowing out towards left. That will be foul.
Look at that bat standing right there on home plate. How do you do that? Now, some good sportsmanship there by Drew Butera. From one catcher to another.
One ball, 2 strikes. Naquin walked to open the inning. Three balls and 2 strikes. By the way, it's a final. Minnesota did beat Detroit 4-1. Will find the seats.
Most of the Royals fans have moved up out of the sun and found themselves in some shade. Can't say I blame them. Good day for a sun hat or a good cool towel.
Drenched with cold water.
Or cabbage, like you said they used to do.
Butera over for a look. Yeah, I was reading about that back in the old days. Remember the old days when the fielders would come off the field and they'd leave the gloves on, and both home and visiting team would use the same glove. The outfielders would leave one in right field, a glove in center field, a glove in left field. The infielders would all leave.
Yeah. But when it came to the cabbage, though, I don't think they left the cabbage on the field.
No.
To put it on their head. I think that's an individual thing.
They might have been growing it down in the bullpen, though.
Well,
our Mazda premier Mazda game break. The Texas Rangers are coming to town. Adrian Beltre and his friends.
well, I think the Royals know it's not going to get any easier. This guy right here, he's been awesome.
But they have not played well lately. They've lost 11 of their last 14 ball games. They could be vulnerable. And I'll tell you, the team to watch is that Houston Astros ball club. They're now just 4.5 games back after getting off to a miserable start this year. 7.63 team ERA. And Rex, they use their bullpen a lot in the first half of the season.
We'll have to see what they bring here. Now, you typically, when a team loses for a period of time, they're due to turn it around. But you know what? Our Royals, they'll have to attack them here at home where they play their best baseball outside of the last 2 games.
Tell you that Houston ball club has a lot of weapons down in the minor leagues that they could dangle to perhaps get a starting pitcher before the trade deadline. There's a look at Texas. They have a lead of 4.5 games, but at one time they led by more than 10 over Houston. Seattle, I can't figure out. I thought they might win the American League West, and they're right at 500. They've just been treading water all season long.
No, Seattle, you know, Seattle has a new general manager and field manager in the same years. So far, they're doing okay, but that offense they have, you'd expect them to throw a lot more runs up there. Seager, Cano.
So 3 walks by Young to Naquin, Perez, and Santana. Chin-Min Wong is starting to throw as Dave Island trots out for a visit. A long afternoon here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, and really nothing has gone right. The Indians with 11 runs on 10 hits. They've blasted 5 home runs, and the Royals have not been able to send a pitcher out there that's been able to get guys out. Fans, we want to let you know that MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD at home, in the office, or on the go. Get real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch-by-pitch tracking, and more. MLB.TV Premium also includes a free At-Bat Premium subscription. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Here is a pop-up. Cuthbert will take care of it. Infield fly rule was in effect. So Gonzalez is the first out. And now Lindor comes up.
How about that? 0 for 3. Shocker.
Strike 1. Royal pitchers have walked 6 batters today. Lindor may have stretched his strike zone a bit right there.
Now, earlier, we had our keys to this game. Show Lindor the door. So far, 0 for 3. It's working. But the Royals have not found a way.
Ooh, they say he did not go.
Tough angle. Looked like he held back.
And then he waves at a high fastball thrown by Chris Young and strikes out. So that's the 3rd strikeout for Lindor this afternoon.
Yeah, they've done a good job on him, but the rest of his teammates have been on fire.
Chased a couple of pitches out of the strike zone. Hud, in the first half of the season before the All-Star break, what American League batter chased the most pitches out of the strike zone? I know that's like an impossible stat to figure out, but sometimes you, when you say the guy's name, you'll go, oh yeah, I can see that.
Well, I would say Juan Uribe, but he don't have that many at bats.
But it's a guy on the team he used to play for.
How about Yasiel Puig? Jose Abreu. How about that?
He had chased 306 pitches out of the strike zone. And what pitcher offered pitches that hitters thought were strikes? They swung out pitches out of the zone the most. Zach Greinke, former Royal. They chased 342 of Zach's pitches, the most of any pitcher. Bases loaded, 2 out, the 1-2 pitch in there, strike 3 called, so he loads the bases on 3 walks, then gets out of it.
Just crawling along here. 11-0, just 1 hit for our Royals. But fans, make sure you come to the K this Sunday when the 4th bobblehead of the commemorative series is handed out. Continue to add to your collection with the Wade Davis bobblehead, presented by Creighton University. Reliving the moment the Royals won the World Series. The first 20,000 fans through the gates receive this one-of-a-kind item. Purchase your tickets today at Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Yep, I agree with you, sir. Get that cool towel, a little bit of cold water, and those umpires never get to sit. Long day out here at the K today. Dan Otero getting a chance to relieve Carrasco. Going to come after those guys with the sinking fastball, slider, curve, and change. He's got all four. Morales taking a tough one, man. That two-seamer was nasty. That started on the inner half and ended up off the dish. Down 0-2. Doing a changeup. Right over the middle of the plate. You know, really, the way this game is going this late in the game, these guys should be first ball swinging. Put the ball in play. Let's move this thing along.
So what are you throwing them here?
Heater right down the middle. See how far you can hit it. And lots of times hitters get themselves out. And the one thing that Otero wants to do coming out of that pin is to just throw strikes. You got this kind of lead, just go ahead.
Carrasco did just that for 6. That is chopped to first base. Santana will give it up to Dan, and there's 1 out.
Vote for your Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in Kansas City metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. Majestic.
Drew Butera batting for the first time. Foul back.
When Mike Minor was throwing his side session yesterday, and it wasn't a side session, a simulated game they call it, and you have the extra Royals hitters that are not playing every day come out there and get their at bats. Drew Butera was one of them. I saw Drew Butera get a nice clean base hit to right field, and it was really the only ball put in play firmly against Mike Minor. And I saw him later in the day and I said, Drew, nice knock today. And he looked at me and smiled and said, thank you.
He knew exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, he got a bit, and those simulated games are tough. They're tough to get any hits off of those guys going out there, but you know, that's what a hitter does. You look forward to those simulated games. It gets you live action. You want to stay ready. And Butera's done that this season. Hit .283, 11 runs, 17 hits and 60 at bats. There's a lot of backup catchers out there hitting under 200. Believe me, play once a week, it's hard. But Drew, he's really works at his craft. Let's see what kind of skills we have in the stands. Hey, young man. Proper form there. Where did he get that, catch that ball up high? Yeah, it's a big league pearl. Well, it's not exactly a pearl. Pearl is one that's not been rubbed up. It's right out of the box. But that's a in-game used ball rubbed up by Delaware mud.
Nothing like catching your first foul ball, and he has that world championship cap on.
He might want to take that ball home, go in his backyard, find him a little box or something he can throw it into or off the wall and pretend like he's a big league pitcher with a big league baseball. Remember those games you used to play when you were that age in the backyard and passing time in the summer? There it is. Get up. Yeah.
And it's over the head of Chisenhall and right.
That way, Drew.
And Drew will stop at second base with a 1-out double. So the Royals have 2 hits today, and both of them are doubles.
It's easy to pull for a guy like Drew Butera. He got that similar hit we were talking about yesterday. Just like that, short and compact to the opposite field. And by him choking up on that bat like that, staying short to the ball, look at this, ideal. Hardly any stride at all, just all hands, good lower base, but went with a pitch. And Chisenhall had no chance, just over his glove.
Although Orlando looking for his first hit today, he had 3 hits in the first 2 games of this series. Otero drops a strike. Fish that one to Otero. Otero will take third, but 2 out.
How about Drew Butera? That was his 18th hit, and 10 of those 18 have been for extra base hits. Nice job.
Yeah, Drew only had 4 extra base hits for the Royals last year. Already has 10.
Right. He's on fire. Stays ready.
There's Brett Eibner. They have come inside on Brett. Carrasco got him twice, striking him out once and getting him on a comebacker the other time. Right before the break, Brett had a little hot streak going. 6 for 12. Pops that one up, and it will be the second baseman Gonzalez, and the Royals are done in the 7th. Kennedy early as Ian gave up 7 runs. Cleveland jumped on everybody in the 5th inning with 7 runs and hit 5 home runs today.
Yeah, that was Kipnis that got it all started in that first inning. 3rd inning, Tyler Naquin stayed inside the ball well, and a beautiful swing there. Got up underneath it. The 5th inning, here it was. Oh yeah, Santana says pilot to Bombardier. He opened up that door there. And Napoli says I'll do it again. That's the 128th right there. Naquin's second home run given up by a Royals pitcher. That's second most in baseball behind the Cincinnati Reds.
If winning is Wong, I don't want to be white. It is Chin-Min Wong, of the new pitcher for Kansas City, coming out of the bullpen for the 29th time this year.
That's a good sign.
That was pretty good.
I like it.
That takes some imagination.
Yeah, nice job.
That's what you love to see, the fans still into it, even though their team is down 11-0. They just say, we are going to try and bring joy to Mudville.
Yeah, they love it. They love being here.
Top of the 8th inning, Wong will face Jose Ramirez and Lonnie Chisenhall. Strike one. Strike two. Again, Friday is Mizzou night. Also great fireworks show. Danny Duffy will be on the hill for Kansas City. Yu Darvish throwing for Texas.
Wong, he's getting in there on Ramirez's hands there, and Ramirez is lucky his bat has not been broken in the last few swings. Sinker, slider, changeup are Wong's pitches.
Left field, Eibner chasing in foul territory, has room for the first out. Wong will now face Lonnie Chisenhall, known early in his career as a streaky hitter.
Chisenhall, his career is going a lot like Alex Gordon's. Just came up as a third baseman, had some issues being consistent fielding. They moved him to the outfield, and now he's a successful conversion to play in the outfield. Got a good strong arm. They like what he can do. They like his bat, especially this year. Got off to a slow start, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish up.
Yeah, he had a game at Texas 2 years ago that was ridiculous. 5 hits, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. And he had put together a week. Obviously, he was the American League Player of the Week that week, but just on fire. And at Texas, everything he struck was like line drive and a deep blast. It's when the baseball looks like a beach ball.
Boy, it's nice to get in a groove like that, and it doesn't happen all that often. Some hitters are great. They get those a lot, but not most. That story Denny Matthews loves to tell about Tony Gwynn using one bat the entire season is hard to believe. That's what kind of hitter he was.
And that was a year he hit like 380. Ground ball third, backhanded Cuthbert, long throw, got him. 2 out.
Boy, nice footwork by Cuthbert. You know, if you're going to be a good infielder, you better have good, quick feet. But you've got to be able to get that motor going and get them in a position to where you can get a good, accurate throw. Watch him on the backhand here. Watch him shuffle his feet. Watch him how he gets underneath his feet, and he's able to follow with a great overhand throw. Watch it, that right foot. He's going to throw, get some momentum going towards his target right over the top. Well done.
Now Abraham Almonte, who had a chance to be their opening day center fielder this year, but because he was suspended by Major League Baseball for PED use, he missed 80 games, and he began his rehab assignment on June 22nd. Played 7 games at AAA Columbus.
That's tough. You don't have a lot of at-bats and you get 7 games, you got to come up here and face big league pitching.
And he got a hit in all 7 of those games at .444, and of course they called him up. He made the last out in Monday's terrific comeback by the Royals, where they knocked off Cleveland 7-3, and Wade Davis was able to get him on a pop-up, and Sal Perez made the catch back at the screen. Sliding play. Austin Adams now throwing in the Cleveland bullpen. A chopper to second. Hustling is Merrifield. He understands that Almonte runs well and tosses him out. 1, 2, 3. Go the Indians in the 8th. Friday and Sunday, the games will be right here on Fox Sports Kansas City. On Saturday, the game is televised nationally on FS1. You can also watch them all live on your phone, tablet, or PC on Fox Sports Go. And here are the matchups. Darvish, Duffy Friday, Hamels, Ventura on Saturday, and Griffin against Volquez on Sunday. Look at Hamels, 10-2.
3 ERA. You know, Darvish is going to be tough too. He's got that great split finger sinker. Everything's down. Hopefully Duffy, Ventura, and Volquez will.
Yeah, Ventura had that great second half last year, going, I believe it was 9-3 or 9-2.
Right.
And Dyson goes up the middle. Just the Royals' 3rd hit today. The new pitcher is Austin Adams. He was called up recently because of a series of injuries that Cleveland suffered, and one Zach McAllister, a setup guy they are looking forward to getting back. But Adams out of Faulkner University in Montgomery, Alabama. He was a shortstop and pitcher there. And there's a shot to left field by Christian Colon. That will get almost to the wall, and Dyson around third base, running through the stop sign. He will score easily, and then ran into the umpire. But the Royals are on the scoreboard.
Well struck by Colon. Almonte got to it before it got to the wall, but Jarrod Dyson, he took a peek as he was rounding second base, and he had already made up his mind, and I can score on this. Good swing. I can score on this one. He had a good lead at first base. Now Jirschele down by 11 runs. I mean, most third basemen are going to say, whoa, 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 third base coaches, but Dyson made it easily.
Well, not only that, but nobody out.
Yeah.
Now Merrifield, who walked his first time up. Strike one. Wood had a good battle with Carlos Carrasco, the starting pitcher in the 6th inning. Now sends a ground ball to short. Lindor will throw him out. Cheslor Cuthbert's been on twice. Now he'll try and get Christian Colon home. Cheslor with a double back in the 4th, a walk in the 6th. He's raised his average to .295. You know, for a guy who didn't play the first month of the season at the major league level, he was down in Omaha. He now has 67 hits, Hud. And Alex Gordon has moved into the on-deck circle. He'll be batting for the pitcher. Go ahead and add to your 31 RBIs, Cheslor.
Why not? He's got a nice live fastball. That's what Chester's going to be looking for. And you'll mid-90s, good slider. That's Austin Adams.
Jammed that fastball in the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Up the middle. That's into center field. Here comes Colon, and Cuthbert comes through again. 32 RBIs for the kid.
Now, you know, we are at home, and it is the 8th inning. That's when the Royals score their runs. Typically, nice swing, stays on top of that high fastball. Got the pitch he wanted, and gets it by a diving Lindor. Cleveland up 11-1, and Lindor's out there diving for balls, trying to rob hitters. Gotta like it.
So here's Gordon batting in the pitcher's spot. And he takes ball 1.
He's had one opportunity as a pinch hitter this year off the bench. This will be his second.
1 ball, 1 strike. Kelvin Herrera is warming in the Kansas City bullpen. Austin Adams called on July 7th. McAllister was placed in the DL. Alex tried to check his swing, but he went, and he knew it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Ned Yost gave him a day to just kind of sit back and relax. And he's going to get him a little opportunity here. Maybe he can turn this into a base hit here. Pitch has been wearing him out inside. Defense is playing him dead pull. When Alex is going good, he's getting hits to left field and doubles down the left field line and using the whole field, and he hasn't been able to find that stroke so far this year. Now, pinch hitting is a different story. This is a 1 at-bat. It's very difficult to do, but when you're getting 3 and 4 at-bats a game, a hitter of his caliber obviously is frustrated. Gonna have to see if he can make some kind of adjustments to get going to left field again. Hey,
Gordon to right and deep and over the head of Chisenhall. It bounces up against the wall. They're going to send the runner home, and Cuthbert will score.
There you go. Alex got a pitch he could hit and handle, and he drove it. First pinch hit of the year for him. This is his second opportunity. Picked up an RBI. Ah, there you go. Maybe that'll get him going. 16th RBI on the season. There it is, a little top hand release. Short, compact. I liked it. The short stride there with that foot, keeping him in control. Hips, eyes, good head position right there. Way to go, Alex. Hope you found it. That's really nice when you can get one pinch hit, an opportunity, have an off day, and then start fresh on the weekend with that good clean hit in your mind.
You mentioned Tony Gwynn earlier. That's what he used to do, was at the end of a game have the video coordinator in the clubhouse put his 4 at-bats, and then he would have him. He would say, give me any at bat you find where I get a clean base hit, because I want that on my mind visually as I drive home to see my family, to have that visualization of a perfect at bat.
And if you're going to play baseball at the highest level, you must have a way to find a positive out of a negative situation. It's a tough job making a living playing baseball as a hitter. So you take that one clean hit and you dwell on that. You don't dwell on the other 3 you missed. Positive reinforcements. You're not in this game long if you don't have that. You've got to have some way, or surround yourself with people that are encouraging to you, that are positive, that have a little life for you. You're either a fountain or a drain, and if you hang around drains, you'll have a hard time resurfacing.
Morales with a 2-0 count. Adams had the visit with his pitching coach. Now he'll take on Kendris. Out off. Royals with 3 in the 8th. They've now outscored the opposition by 45 runs in the 8th inning or later. That's the best in all of baseball. After the conversation with Callaway, he has pumped 2 fastballs in there. Gordon at second. Hit well, left center field, but it will be playable for Almonte, and Gordon, who is halfway, retreat to second base. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. Drew Butera, the batter. He doubled his first time up. And there's a shot down the line by Butera. His 11th extra base hit this year. Gordon will score, and Drew with a pair of doubles today.
I was watching Drew Butera on deck, and you could just see he couldn't wait to get to the plate. Stay hot. Never you can come in on a game like this, a hot day, and Salvi's been taken out of the game, and you can come in and get not one but 2 base hits on a cookie. That's right up at the top of the strike zone, and he didn't miss it. That's how you take advantage of the little playing time you get, and that's why Butera is easy to pull for. It's hard.
Yeah, a young lady held up a sign, "I want to see the hair flip," from Drew Butera, but Francona will take out Adams and bring on Manship. We'll be right back. We have an easy pick for our fan of this game. That young lady has made signs for Peter Moylan, for Chinman Wong, for Drew Butera about the hair flip. She had another one for Paulo Orlando.
Look at her.
You are the fan of the game.
Without a doubt. And her smile. I mean, you'd think the Royals were in first place by 20 games. Like it. That's the fans that the Royals are blessed to have, young lady. Thank you for your support.
Well, here is Pau Paulo. Jeff Manship will be the pitcher, and boy, the Royals just lit him up the other day in that 7-run 8th inning where they rallied from 2 runs down to win 7-3.
Manship's sinker, cutter, curve change. They might throw a little bit bigger slider, and he's going to get it out there in the inning.
Ramirez throws him up, and the Royals get 4 in the 8th inning. They're on the scoreboard. It's an 11-4 Cleveland lead. And that is who we will see here in the 9th inning, Kelvin Herrera. What a great lady. What a great fan. Now fans are there through thick and thin.
Yes, they are. And believe me, they are defending world champions, Fizz.
You're exactly right. They went through the thin. They've been through the thick the last 2 years.
That's right. And there's a lot of pride that goes behind that. And the 2 years of going all the way, that's just a little wear and tear on the guys. And it's shown some this year. But, you know, there's still a lot of games to be played. See what happens.
Hud, when you lose Moose and Kane and Medlin and Minor and Gordon for a long stretch, that is tough. Royals have made no excuses. Follow Paulo to victory.
Yeah. Not going to make any. And believe me, in this business here, Ned Yost, not going to get any sympathy cards.
So Herrera comes on just to get some work in.
If the Royals can't score 8 runs in the 9th inning, then they'll be 9 back.
Herrera has not pitched since Sunday. Again, the Royals have tomorrow off, but we really don't. We're flying to the White House tonight. We will spend the night in Washington, D.C. Go to the White House, take a tour, meet the president. Josh Earnest, who's a huge Royals fan, will be there, the press secretary for President Obama. Josh went to the Barstow School here in Kansas City and just a huge Royals fan. Fouled off. Naquin has been on all 4 times. 2 home runs, a double, a walk, 6 RBIs. He was an All-American at Texas A&M. And even though he's playing center field in the big leagues, he was the Aggies' right fielder.
If you look at how he starts, you know, his hands are down and out over the plate, but they're loose and relaxed. And look at him, he's just slapping at the ball, going hard.
Sure did. Just barely got him as he was hustling down that line in an 11-4 ball game.
Yeah, respecting 90 feet. I like that. Play the game and respect it. Look at him, a little slapping. Now he's not giving up. And he almost beat this out. Cuthbert caught that ball behind him a little bit, or a little bit deep. Good stretch there by Morales. Kendrys Morales is a baseball player. All right, he's not a guy who's, you know, he's got great speed and one of those type of baseball players, but he plays, he works. He's not just a DH. We saw what he could do in right field in the National League ballparks, and now at first base, he's been flawless. I don't believe he's erred at first base last year or this year.
Very comfortable there. Came up in the Angels organization, then Seattle, the Twins, back to Seattle, and then signed with the Royals. Boy, what a pleasant surprise he was as the Edgar Martinez designated hitter of the year, leading the team in RBIs.
And you know, he, like Edison Volquez, comes to the ballpark every day, regardless of where they are, with a smile on his face. Good pitch.
In there, strike 3 called, so Perez is out number 2. If you're a fan of the Royals and Thunder, come out to the Cave for a night of big league action. This Saturday, the Royals are hosting an Oklahoma City Thunder night. Purchase a theme ticket package that includes an exclusive Royals themed Thunder baseball cap that can be redeemed at Gate A. Plus, help us welcome Oklahoma City Thunder player and former KU Jayhawk Nick Collison to Kauffman Stadium to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. Visit Royals.com/theme tickets to purchase a game ticket. Two balls, no strikes. Santana today has struck out, walked, homered, walked, and walked again in the 7th. So 3 walks and now 54 for the year. He's 3rd most in the American League behind Josh Donaldson and Mike Trout. Trout will be coming to Kauffman Stadium next week for games Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Three and one. Eibner racing in foul territory, bangs into the wall. That's a heck of a play by Brett Eibner. Down by 7 runs, not giving up.
Just barely stayed in. Eibner put the brakes on just in time after he kisses the wall.
Kansas City Boulevard Royals Live will be after the ball game with Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery, who are preparing for this. And Rex, what are you guys going to be talking about?
Well, I would imagine that Joel and Monty will be trying to cover this game in a very positive manner, especially loading up on the airplane and head to the White House tomorrow. But you won't want to miss it, as we're about ready to see Kyle Crockett.
Kyle Crockett. He came on to face one man yesterday, and that was in the 7th inning when the Royals had scored to make it a 6-3 ball game. And he came on to strike out Eric Hosmer. So she's got a sign for everybody. RB Eibner. Here comes Brett Eibner.
That's a good nickname, RB Eibner.
Yeah, you used to call it a ribeye steak.
That's right.
That's what you were looking for.
That's right. Players call them steaks. RBI, ribeye.
Eibner 3 home runs this year. He has driven in 10. Today he is 0 for 3. Pop that one up, but that should get out of play and will. She almost caught it. Darn it. If you don't catch it in the fly, you got to battle people like this for that baseball.
Look at that costume. How about that? She is really styling. Crockett came in last night, did a good job on Hosmer.
Threw a lot of sliders down and away from Haas.
But before that, he threw 3 fastballs and got him set up for those sliders that were down and away. It's a pretty good pitcher. He's got a good changeup against righties.
Yeah, the University of Virginia has very quickly become one of the top college baseball programs, and he came out of UVA, a Cavalier, 4th round pick in 2013 by the Tribe. Got to the outside corner at 89 miles an hour and strikes out Eibner.
Well, this isn't the time to pass an eye test. You got to hack or you'll go back.
Now Crockett to face a left-hander in Gerard Dyson. Dice 1 for 3, singled his last time up and scored in the double by Christian Colon, who will follow. In there, 1 strike. Hot Gerard. And she put some work in.
She's great.
Pulled to the right side, Santana. 2 out. And Hud, it's not only the time it takes to put those projects together, the artwork for those signs, but also having to carry them from your car to the ballpark. And here we go. Colon smells like a victory.
I think you should go down and interview her right now.
I will.
Let's go. We got 2 outs. Maybe the post
We
game.
can be that Boulevard Royals live.
Right. And you know she'll tell you all about it.
Christian picked up his 9th RBI last time up with that double down the left field line, and then he rolls this one to second. Gonzalez for the final out, and this game is history. The Indians do take 2 of the 3 games, and they now have a 9-game lead on Kansas City. We'll be right back.